Speaker of the House Mike Johnson sending his House colleagues home early for the July 4th recess after Republican hardliners blocked floor activity. What is the problem with the Senate, and why are they so unwilling or unable to extend and execute President Trump's agenda?
Look, you heard J.D. Vance say it best. It is a defeatist perspective to say, well, the votes aren't there, so we're not going to try. But it's equally the fault of the House. And I actually just messaged the Speaker and I said, look, we can't allow them to put a Senate bill on the floor that they're going to use in their re-elections without attaching the Save America Act to it. And I know that the president has been very vocal about this. And I do hope that if it does pass, we're going to try to stop it. We're going to try to attach the Save America to it. But he should actually veto it.
MAGA Mike's speakership has run into the same problem that keeps destroying the Republican Party. Donald Trump's demands are easy to make in front of the camera to sound big and bold, but almost impossible to govern around. Because Johnson tried to move the National Defense Authorization Act, the annual defense policy bill that Congress normally treats as must-pass legislation, tried to attach Trump's Save America Act to it, and the whole thing just collapsed.
So what happened yesterday? What can you tell us about that failed rule vote and the early departure?
Well, Maria, Anna Paulina Luna and a number of my colleagues tanked the rule in large measure because, as she said, she wants to attach the Save America Act to every piece of legislation that comes through the House floor. And while I understand the sentiment and certainly support voter ID, support proof of citizenship, the fact is that we have passed it 3 times through the House. We are not the issue. The Senate is, and that really boils down to the Senate rules and the filibuster. And the Democrats are never going to give the votes, which means the only vehicle by which you can actually pass it through the Senate with the filibuster intact is reconciliation. And so I think it's, frankly, self-defeating.
The vote earlier yesterday was supposed to advance the National Defense Authorization Act. This is the annual Pentagon policy package. Historically, it passes with broad bipartisan support, but Johnson and Republican leadership tried to jam Trump's Save America Act into the process. The Save America Act is Trump's election bill that would impose new voting restrictions, including proof of citizenship requirements and other changes that Democrats and voting rights advocates warn could block eligible voters. It already suffered a major issue in federal court with an Obama-era judge blocking it.
In Boston, a federal judge today halted President Trump's executive order, which aimed to regulate mail-in voting and create a federal voter list. In her ruling, Judge Indira Telwani sided with nearly 24 states in finding that, quote, the Constitution does not grant the president any specific powers over elections. Her decision would apply to the November midterms, though the White House plans to appeal.
This plan was supposed to solve an internal Republican fight, but instead it just further cemented the divide. Rule failed 198 to 224. And once again, the Republican Party looked far from a governing party with a majority rule. Countless Republicans joined Democrats to oppose a rule, which sends a brutal message, right? This was not Democrats blocking Mike Johnson. This was Mike Johnson failing to control Republicans. And that's worse for him, right? Because he can't blame Democrats for opposing Trump's voting bill. All it does is show that in his efforts to satisfy Trump to no end by attaching the Save America Act to the defense bill, he failed to govern again. I mean, how many times has this happened under his leadership? And the deeper problem is that Trump's Save America Act is politically toxic and it's procedurally difficult. Despite Trump's wishes, the Senate does not appear to have the votes to pass it as a standalone measure. That's why Republicans keep trying to find ways to attach it to other bills. The Homeland Security bill, with the defense bill. The pattern's clear. Republicans keep trying to staple it to must-pass legislation, but each time they do, they create more chaos. A bill that is supposedly about election integrity is now repeatedly threatening the basic function of Congress. Trump wants Republicans to prioritize his voting bill because his entire political identity, his identity is built around the lie that elections are stolen unless he wins them.
You ever hear the fake news? They say that's an 80-20 issue. No, it's not. It's 99-1. I've been doing politics now for 10 years, not that long considering I've won 3 elections, so it does. But We did great in the second one. It was a rigged deal.
And this is what Trump does to Republican governance, right? He takes normal legislative work and he turns it into a loyalty test. He takes a defense bill and makes it about his election obsession. He takes a House Speaker and makes him choose between institutional function and MAGA appeasement. And Mike Johnson just keeps choosing MAGA, which results in failure after failure when it comes to the simple act of governing in a majority. The whole thing rests on Trump's obsession with voter fraud, right? Since losing the 2020 election, something in him, it's just broken. Still to this day, he peddles the lies, and his allies have kept inflating claims about non-citizen voting and mail ballot fraud. But when they're asked to provide substantive evidence, they either run away from the interview or they just shut down entirely.
I think they're really right.
That sounds like a period. All right, so can we also now stop pretending that the elections are not secure?
We can stop when they become secure. That's when we can stop doing it.
Where's your evidence that they are not secure?
I think, first of all, the fact that we do not have to show ID is a disgrace. Number two, I will find you videos, including 2024 in Connecticut, when you have on a security camera one person dumping in mail-in ballots.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch your YouTube video.
Of course you don't want to watch it because it goes against your agenda. But if you opened your eyes and saw something that goes against what you believe, you'll see that it's not secure.
But hold on, Emily.
Don't tell me to open my eyes.
What about a better argument than, oh, it doesn't happen.
Hold on, Emily.
Which it happens, and your argument
let me just let Emily finish what she was claiming, because she said, you said that there was a video in Connecticut. What's the point of the video?
My point is that mail-in ballots are not secure because they are mishandled.
Don't try to get off of it now.
Hold on. What's the point of the video in Connecticut that you're talking about? What happened in Connecticut?
One person dumped multiple mail-in ballots.
And then what happened? You said it was on video. So was that person charged?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're telling me that there's massive fraud and it's caught on video and you can't tell me whether it was real or not?
We can look into
whether the person was charged or not?
I really hope he was charged. But how many instances were not caught on camera?
But hold on.
I didn't have cameras.
Hold on, Emily.
Did I have cameras in my mail-in ballot? No.
I'm just saying that you're basically...
It is absolutely a conspiracy.
It is a letter. It can be
Listen, I'm just saying, if you have video evidence...
How about
that answer is a
you
joke.
defend the fact that we don't have to show voter ID?
Hold on a second.
First of all, that is a ridiculous thing. So do you believe that, actually? In 50 states, that nobody has to show any ID.
I didn't say nobody. Everyone should be required to show
what are you saying? In which states can you vote and no one knows who you are? You have to show where you live, nothing. So which states are those?
How many New Yorkers said?
I didn't know answer because you didn't know it.
Should I give you a list of names? Let me post on Instagram. Everyone who didn't show ID in the New York election, come forward. People will come forward.
Here's the thing.
It's a joke.
You're a joke because you didn't answer that question. You tried to go around the corner.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead, Ashley.
And the timing of all this just makes it even worse, right? Republicans, they're heading into a politically dangerous midterm election environment. Trump is unpopular. The economy is in a terrible state. The Iran deal is being attacked from both sides of the political spectrum, and courts are blocking main parts of Trump's election agenda, from mail-in ballots and, of course, the recent Supreme Court ruling on birthright citizenship.
Oh dear, what they rule?
Here we go.
As children born in the United States, parents unlawfully or temporarily present are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. What's your reaction to that?
Well,
this is real time.
I need to read the opinion, okay? But obviously you could say that's a textualist, originalist view. However, I do think that this has been grossly abused in recent years, okay? And that is the case that was being made by the plaintiffs in the case, and we're very sympathetic to that because it is a serious problem. We have it's become a birthing tourism, they call it, a trend where people will just come and you just come onto the soil and have your child, and then they're able to avail themselves of the welfare state and everything else. It's been abused. It's one of those things that was intended to serve a noble and important purpose and has been thwarted and overused and abused. And so I'm sure that we'll continue to look at that. I mean, I'm sure the conclusion from this opinion is going to be that you got to amend the Constitution to fix that. As we all know, it's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history. And the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify. It's usually at least a many years long process and very complicated. we'll see. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussion about that. I will say I'm very disappointed in that outcome. I think it subjects the country to serious challenges going forward, and we'll have to deal with it as a Congress.
Now, House Republicans, they simply cannot pass a rule for a defense bill because they're fighting over Trump's voting restrictions. That's not exactly the image of a party ready to govern. It's the image of a party preparing to explain why it had all the power and still could not function.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.